Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Foodcaster. Everything about planting, eating, having a relationship with food. I'm Michael, and we're going to give a shout out to Sound Shark. This is this cool microphone that we have here and makes me sound so wonderful. And today we have in the studio the one, the only
Dum.
Sam Eats Plants.
Hi.
So, you told me about dairy.
Yes.
And I talked about my experience with dairy.
Yeah.
And that I'm willing to give up dairy. As well as I see the importance for myself to not eat dairy anymore.
Yes.
And I ate some dairy.
Wait, but how long did you go without eating dairy?
Oh, but like, a month?
It was about a month?
A month, yeah, about anywhere between a month and 6 weeks. 6 weeks.
Was it like 100% dairy free during that time?
I would say 99.9.
Okay.
Yep.
So what happened?
So, everything you said, maybe a little more. See, because I had some shrimp, because I'm a pescatarian, right? And everything got inflamed. My face got inflamed, my eyes were itchy, and I got super congested.
How long after you ate this?
I would say maybe 15 minutes to 30 minutes.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
So you cooked shrimp.
Mm-hmm.
But you've been eating shrimp.
Yes.
But you cooked it in?
Butter.
So you cooked it in cow's milk butter.
Mm-hmm.
And when was the last time that you used butter? From cow's milk.
Oh. Maybe like a week?
Okay. And then what happened? So you got inflamed like a few minutes
All
after.
here got full up with congestion.
What did I
And my nose was runny.
What did I say? I think I said it on one of your shows. I might have said it on the show. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
I said, stay away from XYZ dairy for like at least 3 weeks, then add it back in
And see what happens.
and see what it does to you.
I saw what it happens
Yes.
to me.
It always happens.
Wow.
It always happens.
This is real, folks. This is not scripted.
Yes.
And trust me, it was very uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's about that vegan butter. That's
Yes.
what I'm looking for.
And then if you grow past there, it's no butter.
Yeah.
But like,
Well, you know, it's interesting because I am still looking for vegan pizza.
Mm-hmm.
But past that, I'm over the vegan cheese.
oh, cool, good.
I don't really,
Yeah.
if I'm going to give it up, let me just
Yeah.
give it up. But if I go to
Like a
Urban Vegan Kitchen,
Ooh, what's that?
plug, I will get what they have over there.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
past that, I'm not going to buy the $80 fake,
they are expensive.
it's like, what am I doing here?
There is a gluten-free, dairy-free frozen pizza, right? It is so ridiculously expensive, but you can find it in New York. Like
Okay.
it's gotten popular.
Right.
It's like $16, and it's yay big.
Okay, that's $16 is okay.
But it's not from pizzeria. It's
But
like
it's-
frozen food, and it's small.
So it's still processed food.
It's still processed food, but for people like me who just want to like geek out on some like
Right,
junk food,
right.
it's gluten-free. I already have an issue with wheat, so like I already can't really find gluten-free vegan pizza. It's gluten-free
Okay.
and it's vegan. So I'm like,
Wow.
I'll buy it in December. I don't buy it often.
Okay.
It really maybe 6 times in a year I might actually buy it.
But it's good.
It's good for me.
Okay.
I don't know if you'd like it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes like people who want it to taste a certain way, like I'm cool because it's like
You're pretending.
I'm pretending.
Okay. Well, I would like to say I don't have to pretend anymore and buy the fake cheese.
Good, don't.
Yeah, I'm just
It's better if you don't.
with the price point, and it's still processed.
I'll teach you how to make a cheesy sauce with real food.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Potatoes and cashews.
Yeah,
or beans.
boy.
Yeah, for sure.
the advantages of being
Yeah.
on the Foodcaster show.
So do you regularly have like these like reactions like in your life?
Excuse me.
See? Exactly.
I randomly have a reaction
Okay.
with shrimp.
Interesting.
Rarely. Random.
Why are you eating it?
I developed the reactions, so this is all new. Maybe a good 2 years. 2 years.
Oh.
So it's like
That happens to people.
it starts changing.
That happens to people.
What causes that?
Gaining allergies, I'm not exactly sure what it causes as you are an adult, because that does happen. What I do know is what causes allergies in children is a couple things. One, mothers who, while pregnant, eat meat and dairy.
Oh.
And then children who, in particular, don't get breastfed and then are also given cow's milk formula. That particular group. So there's a lot of like little groups. There are children who are only breastfed, who's never had formula, like my children, right? They've never had formula. There are children who are breastfed and then at partial of the way they're breastfed and given formula. And maybe the formula is cow's milk formula. Maybe the formula is soy milk formula. Maybe the formula is goat's milk formula. And then there's some children who from the beginning were kind of both because their mom was either too busy or didn't produce enough. So that from the beginning it's like both breastfeeding and formula. And then there's some who just from the get-go are on formula. And sometimes it's all cow's milk formula, or maybe it's soy milk and cow's milk, or who knows, some type of percentage of each. That last group
Right.
of not being breastfed at all, and on top of that, being formula-fed cow's milk, have the highest out of any of the groups incidence of childhood allergies.
Wow. I'm going to show this really quick. They say these are the top allergies, common allergies. They say cow's milk,
Yes, that is number one.
eggs,
Perhaps number two.
tree nuts,
Perhaps.
peanuts, shellfish,
Yeah.
wheat,
Yeah,
soy, fish.
this is true.
That is true.
I don't know if the order is particularly true, but all of those there are indications of it resulting into allergies. What I would have loved for them to show was that there've been studies, particularly on taking sometimes just fish out of the diet and see allergies drop. Sometimes it's just eggs. Just the eggs out of a diet and it drops like 70%. Sometimes it's taking out dairy, eggs, and meat and it drops. Or even just eggs, dairy, and gluten and it drops. They've also, in Japan, there was a small study done on women who were pregnant and they're trying to see what they ate. And they found that women that ate more meat had a high incidence of having a child that ended up having allergies. So it's all around gestation and early childhood.
Wow.
You know, whether we have these children who are suffering from allergies. And then also there's this connection with allergies and eczema and asthma. They all go hand in hand. And just like we were talking before, that if you start to try to reverse heart disease, you end up reversing diabetes and other things that come with that. If you try to reverse, using nutrition, try to reverse allergies, you'll end up also halting or kind of reversing your asthma and also reversing eczema because they're all connected.
So, now, but what about some of these symptoms? You have swelling of the tongue, mouth, or face, difficulty breathing, low blood pressure. I didn't even know that happens.
I didn't know that one.
Yeah. Vomiting,
Sometimes.
diarrhea,
Those are extreme cases though.
hives,
Yes.
and itchy rash.
Yes. Those are regular. Yeah.
Now, I heard someone say to me, you don't have allergies. It's all in your mind.
I used to be that
Along
person.
with the diet speech. But I don't see how that's all in my mind when I
It's
start.
definitely not all in your mind. I used to be that way because I didn't have allergies. And I used to, oh my God, I was terrible. I was so judgy. And I was like, what are they complaining about?
Right.
Like, I can't breathe. Oh my God, my allergies. And I just was like, oh my God, you guys are just too much. And then, just like, because life will teach you a lesson. And I was in 7th grade. It was springtime. Don't judge me. I was playing lacrosse. But it was the spring sport you had to choose. So I was playing lacrosse, and I just could not breathe. And everything was burning. My eyes were burning. My nose was burning. And I was just like, yo, what's going on? I'm trying to ask everyone around me, like, what's going on in the air? And everyone's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, how am I the only one noticing this? And it stayed for like 2 weeks. And I realized in the middle of it that these were allergies. I had developed 2 weeks worth of environmental allergies. And the only time I ever had it was those 2 weeks in 7th grade. Never had it again. And I feel like that's when life teaches me lessons. It was just to say, you keep making fun of these people with allergies and you think that it's not serious. I'm going to show you what they go through. And in my family, we didn't do like medicine or anything like that. And we never had allergies. So it's not like, I just kept thinking like, I can't, my nose is stinging, Mommy. My nose is stinging. My nose is stinging. And like nothing was done about it. So it's not like I took any medicine for it. But yeah, 2 weeks, it was terrible. I hated it. Felt awful. It's not in your head. It's not in anyone's head. It's real. It's a reaction.
But can food help to get rid of?
Yeah.
In what way? In what foods?
First of all, you need to stop eating certain foods. That's what it is.
Okay.
It's not even like, what can you eat to make it better? No, stop eating what is creating the reaction. And it's animal products, mostly. And when I say mostly, with confidence, I can say over 73%.
And you know what? I started to get a reaction to popcorn sometimes.
With butter on it?
Well, now I'm thinking about it. But even just, but even without butter.
Oh, yeah? Well, if it's not organic, it's probably GMO. And so there's a lot of things that come from something being genetically modified. No matter what the companies or our USDA tell us, we really don't know the long-term effects of GMO stuff. I mean, there is corn for real produced to make the belly of an insect explode. Now, so when they bite into a kernel, and they eat it. Are you going to tell me that doesn't affect us at all? Like, are we really going to sit here and be like, oh no, this is completely safe. We don't need to label anything GMO because it's safe. It's completely fine. They said,
I just don't, yeah.
They said that about a lot of things that were fine and then like weren't fine later. Oh, I wish I could remember the name of the medicine they used to give to pregnant women for pregnancy symptoms. And then, man, what was it? But then all these kids were born with like missing limbs or like 2 fingers. Yeah, it was huge. It was in the 50s and 60s. Huge. There's a whole population of them who are adults now. Like,
wow.
And it's directly from that medicine that they use for, oh my gosh. Another episode, I'm going to redo some stuff because it's a medicine that is used now for something else with a whole list of like, please don't get pregnant.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's used for something else. I think it was heart disease.
So basically, they realized
they took it off the market because all these babies are being born without limbs.
Right. But
and then they were like, oh, it's really good for this other thing. I want to say it was heart disease. It's really good for this. Okay, but now we just gotta let people know.
Wow.
Are they past childbearing age? Because that was like the only issue.
They just want to make that money.
Yeah, but it was off the market for like decades.
Oh, well. So that means somebody was studying for years. Like, come on, we spend so much money on this. How can we make this work? Right.
It was so good for everything else. So there are things that were legal that we were told were safe. I mean, at one point, cigarettes were recommended to pregnant women.
You serious?
Yeah.
Recommended? Oh, to bring down the stress.
I don't know what their reasons were.
Wow.
Like, you can find this online where it's like, for pregnancy, doctors recommend X brand.
Wow.
Like, whatever brand that was.
So, look at the monitor right here. This is unnecessary. Pills are unnecessary. That's what you're telling me?
Well, I did not say pills are unnecessary. What we're talking about with allergies is it's probably exacerbated by your diet, and so change your diet. There is a population of people who can become completely vegan, who can do cleanses and all of that and still have eczema. It exists. It's just smaller. And so when we think about those individuals, then we have to like think harder. And there's, quality of life issues they have to live with that maybe a pill would be helpful for them. But the vast majority, and like I said, hardline, I can say at least 73%, at least, and I think it's like over 90. But like with data, for sure, take out eggs, take out fish, take out meat, and you're probably completely fine. And then for some who are not, take out gluten too, and then you're almost definitely completely fine.
Do you have the same reaction with gluten, or know anyone that has a case where they've taken it out, they've eaten gluten-free, then they started eating bread and then...
Well, I don't have allergies and I don't have asthma, but I have an issue with gluten. I don't know if it's gluten or wheat, because gluten is in more than wheat. It's in oats, it's in barley. So I don't know if it's gluten or wheat, because basically the only glutinous grain I eat is wheat. But I eat bread and I'm like... So that happens to me. So clearly it's mucus forming in me. Soy is too for me. I drink an organic soy milk that's unsweetened, and I love it. And before I'm even done with my tea, I'm like... So it forms mucus in me too. And soy was on that list that you had brought up.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that some people are allergic to soy.
Here's the thing though, let's talk about this, right?
Okay, let's talk about
Let's talk about this. If soy is on that list, and soy, it is true, it can be a factor. It's not one of the strongest factors, but it can be a factor.
Right.
And most people eat a diet predominantly of processed foods, meaning they buy bread, that's a processed food. They buy canned peanut butter, that is usually not just peanuts.
Right.
It's a processed food. They get jelly from a store, not from like a family farm that canned their own jelly. That's a processed food.
But
they may get
fructose,
spaghetti.
corn syrup.
That and food coloring.
Right.
And flavor and natural flavors and citric acid for preservation, processed food. And then someone might get like maybe frozen waffles, processed food. Maybe even frozen sausage patties, processed food. I mean, the parboiled, quick cooked rice is processed instead of just regular rice, because to make it quicker to cook.
Right.
So we're eating a diet predominantly of processed foods. Now read the ingredients on all those processed packages. I can sit here with full confidence and say at least 92% of anything with a label has soy in it. Soybean oil, soy lecithin, soy protein isolate. And if soy is one of those factors for allergies, and you don't realize you're eating soy because you didn't know it's in your bread, it's in your crackers, it's in your cookies, it's in your cake, it's in your waffles.
Wow.
It's in like everything. It's in like everything. And on top of that, the soy that's used is typically GMO soy. Because 95% of all soybean crops in America are GMO, 95%.
Would you recommend people going to a doctor and doing the allergy test?
No. Yes and no.
Okay.
If you do an allergy test with a doctor, you're going to be scared to eat anything, because it's going to be list upon list upon list. And they're going to give you something that says mild allergy, medium, and then very allergic, or it'll say severely. And they'll code it red, yellow, and green. And already with your senses, just seeing the red will make you be like, and you're going to see things like, what? And it's going to freak you out.
Water, air? Oh my goodness.
Cilantro, like literally coconut, cilantro, pistachio,
Wow.
alfalfa, like a whole bunch of things you're not even thinking about. Lima beans, they're going to be somewhere on this list.
Lima beans?
And so this is what I have to say. Typically, I'm not going to say it this way. Every food we eat, except for fruit, doesn't want to be eaten. Okay? So a carrot growing is not for you, but it benefits us. But it doesn't want to be eaten. That's the root of the plant. They don't want you to kill it by ripping up the carrots. So there's nature gives these carrots little toxins. So bugs don't really eat too much of it, and so small rodents don't really eat too much of it, not too much. And it will give you a little something. We're talking about kale. We're talking about broccoli. We're talking about potatoes. We're talking about ginger. We're talking about so many things because they are living life too. I know sometimes people don't really equate the same thing, but plants have their own life, and we all have protective mechanisms. So do the plants. Fruit is different. Fruit is coming from the plant, meant to be eaten, because they want the seeds to spread. So some people are allergic, have an actual allergy to components in fruit because it's a real allergy, not having a reaction because of protective mechanisms that the plant has to try to survive. So when you go and get an allergy test and you see 300 things on the list that you're allergic to, don't freak out. It's the regular stuff that these plants have that maybe you react to. Maybe you react more to asparagus than I might react to asparagus. I don't know. But to have a reaction to asparagus is normal. Because asparagus is like, leave me alone. I'm just growing. I'm trying to be here right now.
Right.
Like, let me give off some oxalic acid right here. Spinach has high amounts of oxalic acid. High amounts. Which can also interfere with calcium metabolism. But that's like whatever, neither here nor there. But my point is, that stuff's normal. These are plants that have their own life going on and they want to live. So that is why I said, don't do that. But at the same time, you can go ahead and do it if you want to, and only look at the severely allergic list. And then if you want to just follow that, then follow it. I still wouldn't do it. This is what I do. Stop eating eggs, fish, and meat.
What?
And maybe wheat, and then see how you feel. And then determine, did this work? And if it did, there you go. If it didn't, go ahead, get an allergy test, and then follow what it says.
Wow.
I'm saying the allergy test is going to show kidney beans. Like, it's going to show everything.
I'm scared, but let me tell you, that was the banging dinner. You'd have been proud.
I'm sure.
You'd have been proud.
I am sure. Fat tastes good because in nature, in a natural world, fat is hard to come across. So we have a natural inclination to want to eat fatty things. Butter really feeds that psychological need for us, especially because it's dairy, and so it gives a dopamine effect. It's almost like a small drug thing. You know, we're kind of like mellow, like.
So when people put a whole bunch of butter on their popcorn or on their popcorn and their steak and their broccoli,
it's feeding their mind. It's feeling that it like it coats something. It like, oh yes, mommy. But yeah, so it's meant to taste good. It will taste good. Fatty things in general, even if it's plant, they taast good. Like people like
so
avocado.
Funny. We always talk about salt,
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
but butter is more of a villain.
No, salt's not the hugest issue. I know when people have high blood pressure, they're like, I'm trying to avoid salt. Like, no, avoid beef. What? What? Do you know they inject the animals with saline solution to plump them up? So, salt water. If you don't know what saline solution is. They do that to make it bigger. Like, the sodium levels of chicken that you don't salt yourself is already too high for your day.
Wow.
So if you have high blood pressure and you're avoiding salt, but you're not avoiding meat, you're not doing anything. Because the little salt that you might do at your table is nothing compared to the amount of salt that is in the meat on your plate.
Wow.
Yeah.
You caught yourself right there.
I did.
You did.
I know. So
but you're so passionate about the truth.
I am. I want people to be well.
Yeah.
I really want people to be well.
Yeah.
It really sucks to die slowly over 10 years. It doesn't feel good for the person or the people who care about the person. So, let's make better decisions.
Let's make better decisions.
And especially for our children, like allergies is something that can be far more avoidable. Eczema, and especially when it's bad. I mean, it's like these kids can suffer. They'll get blisters, bleeding, cracking, like they can't play. Besides just getting teased, but like it's hard to sleep. The blanket on your body is hurting your skin. And to know that it's probably just the yogurt and the cheese and the muffin that's made with butter in it. It's these things that can just stop right away. In fact, anecdote, close friend of mine who used to tease me about all of my different ways of living back in college. And then she came to me a couple years ago about her son who had eczema. Not severe, but it was bad. And I said, hey, listen, her name's Gloria. I'm gonna say her name. I said, Gloria, I know you don't like when I say things like this, but honestly, just take him off of dairy and tell me what happens. And she was open to it. She was like, no, okay. Oh man, he really likes this and that. I said, but you buy the food, so stop. Just do it for a month. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But try that, and if it doesn't work, then also try taking out eggs. And if that also doesn't work, then also do eggs and meat. But I know they eat meat, so I didn't want to make it too hard. And all it took was the dairy. And she was like, it's all gone. And now her son was 8 at the time. Her son is completely aware. Like, he fought it in the beginning, like not eating ice cream and not eating cheese. But then he saw everything clear up, and then he was fine, and he wasn't itchy anymore. And he has said to his mother, like, when there's like a party, Mommy, listen, I really want to eat cake. I know, I'll get the itchies. I'll have the itchies for like 4 days, but I just want to eat the cake today. But he's aware.
Wow.
He gets it now. Yeah, and that's all I want.
Wow.
So for people to understand that.
It's another list. And eczema is on there. Chronic cough.
Yes. They're all related. It's all the
See?
Yeah.
Nasal drip. Hoarseness. I got some of these on here.
Ear, nose, and throat. They're all connected. That's why they're ear, nose, and throat doctors. It's all connected.
Chronic sinus infections.
Yes. That's a huge one here. You know what also is an issue with chronic sinus infections? Kids who are on too many rounds of antibiotics. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. I've never had a sinus infection in my life. And then I hear about it and it sounds awful. I have a friend who like suffers from it. And I'm like, I have no idea what that must feel like.
Wow.
I've never had a sinus infection. But yeah, multiple rounds of antibiotics that end up killing off the bacteria that do you good. And then now you get infections way more because your good bacteria is like depleted. And then the bad bacteria is like, hey, we can take over. And then you get sick. And then you have more antibiotics. And then you do it again.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
I'm definitely going to bring that up to someone I know that has issues with eczema to just do an experiment, cut out the dairy.
Good luck. I have a friend that has another friend who has eczema. I won't say her name because her name is very unique.
Okay.
But it's not that she won't do it. She just keeps pretending like she hates it. And I'm like, stop doing this. And she goes, I'm going to stop. And she'll stop for 2.5 days. And then she'll do something and have like Caesar dressing on something. I was like, that's dairy. Oh, well. And she goes, well, I didn't have for 2 days. I'm like, you have to do it straight. You can't just do it in between because you're not cleaning anything up. And you're not clearing it out. It needs like weeks to clear out. Wow. So she's never done it. I don't even think she ever reached 10 days. So she still got her scaly skin, so she deals with that. Man. I know, it's okay. She knows what to do.
She knows what to do.
She knows what to do, and she knows it's correct. She's not ready to do it, so at least I can respect that. She's not saying it's not going to work. She knows it would work. Yeah.
Well, you got me with the runny runs, funds. So I know about that. I know about that right there. And I don't like it. What's your social media, Sam?
It's at Sam Eats Plants on Instagram. Yeah.
Awesome. And I'm Michael 7. Michael, you're watching Foodcaster, everything. Planting, eating, shopping, enjoying food, but having a relationship with food. I realize that's very important and be knowledgeable. So this was a very interesting episode. I hope you guys could be inspired. Make some changes, do some research of your own, and of course, soundsharkaudio.com for this wonderful microphone from Soundshark. Thank you very much. You're watching Foodcaster.